Hey, what's up, you all? Welcome back. I am Van, and we are all the LFR family. Thank you so much for clicking play. Hopefully, you hit the like button as well, and consider sharing this on all other platforms. All right, so they have woken Biden up from his nap, and I'm giving him the proper vitamins so he can be able to stand up long enough to address the nation and give his disdain for the Supreme Court's ruling on Trump's immunity case. All right. We already know what this is, but we're going to listen to our strong, powerful president. All right. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments. Let's go ahead and get to it.
For the White House where President Biden is speaking.
You face moments when you need the courage to exercise the full power of the presidency. You also face moments where you need the wisdom to respect the limits of the power of the office of the presidency. This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. With today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed. For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent, because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States. The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone. This decision today has continued the court's attack in recent years on a wide range of long-established legal principles in our nation, from gutting voting rights and civil rights, to taking away a woman's right to choose, to today's decision that undermines the rule of law of this nation. Nearly 4 years ago, my predecessor sent a violent mob to the U.S. Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power. We all saw it with our own eyes. We sat there and watched it happen that day. Attack on the police, the ransacking at the Capitol, a mob literally hunting down the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, gallows erected to hang the Vice President, Mike Pence. I think it's fair to say it's one of the darkest days in the history of America. Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol is facing potential criminal conviction for what happened that day. And the American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election. The public has a right to know the answer about what happened on January 6th before they are asked to vote again this year. Now, because of today's decision, that is highly, highly unlikely. It's a terrible disservice to the people of this nation.
We have been teaching people how to grow online. It's been absolutely amazing. We have 3 people who have been able to reach monetization in less than 30 days. Growing YouTube channels, some from 0 people. We have one guy who had 2 subscribers before he started working with me. He started helping him. His views went up 4.8 million%. We're super excited. If anybody ever want to grow on YouTube, you reach out to me with the word coach.
So now the American people have to do what the courts should have been willing to do, but will not. The American people have to render a judgment about Donald Trump's behavior. The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the highest office in the land. The American people must decide if Trump's embrace of violence to preserve his power is acceptable. Perhaps most importantly, the American people must decide if they want to entrust the president once again, the presidency, to Donald Trump, now knowing he'll be even more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to do it. You know, at the outset of our nation, it was the character of George Washington, our first president, to define the presidency. He believed power was limited, not absolute, and that power always resides with the people. Always. Now, over 200 years later, with today's Supreme Court decision, once again, it will depend on the character of the men and women who hold that presidency that are going to define the limits of the power of the presidency, because the law will no longer do it. I know I will respect the limits of the presidential powers I have for 3.5 years, but any president, including Donald Trump, will now be free to ignore the law. I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote. So should the American people dissent. I dissent. May God bless you all, and may God help preserve our democracy. Thank you. And may God protect our troops.
Let's now bring in CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang.
There you have it. We are all surprised as Americans that President Joe Biden is pissed off that his opponent cannot be held back by the court system, in which he tried to act like he had nothing to do with. But clearly, you just heard from him. He had a lot to do with. He was hoping and praying that they did their jobs of hushing him up, locking him up, removing him from even running as a potential presidential candidate. And now he is fearful, and he's trying to strike fear into the American people. He's trying to hoe you all out. That's all that is. That's how I see it anyway. He don't care either way. He just want Trump to go away. He want to be in the office again. He want to win again. That's it. He said that the American people have a right to know. My question is, because for most of the people that I know, they haven't seen all of the videos that I have seen that were inside of the Capitol on that day of officers walking people around like they was on a daggone tour in a museum. They wasn't under duress or nothing. Like, oh yeah, and that's the such and such office. That's Nancy's office right there. And no, it wasn't what they're trying to paint it out to be. But this is what we call propaganda. They show their supporters the side that they need them to see so that they can make the decisions that they need them to make. And then we are shown everything, all parts, even the parts where there were certain three-letter agencies who were commingled in the crowd, who were the first ones to bust out windows, the first ones to throw objects, trying to make things worse than they already was. Yeah, this brother just now got up there and fear-mongered again. And guess what? It's going to work, unfortunately. And if we try to spread the entire truth, certain social media platforms won't allow it to get out there at all. So now, America, since we couldn't do it unlawfully, backhandedly, and get the courts to do it off some trumped up charges that he didn't deserve, we're going to need for you to do it now. We're going to need for you to rise up and vote. Well, that's what we were going to do in the first place. And they didn't even have to do the trumped up charges. There were many things that have happened in this country that were far worse than Jan 6. And you all know it. But they would try to make this out to be the thing that destroys, as he says, our democracy. And those people, his sheep will hear him. His sheep will hear him. And they will respond accordingly. Yeah, those are my 2 pennies. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Please make sure you also spread the truth. All right? Do me a favor and spread the truth. Love y'all. See you on the next video. Peace.